All right, so it's a 10-minute, as many rounds as possible, 60 burpees facing the bar, so you have to jump over a bar, 30 overhead squats at 120 for the guys, and 90 for the girls, and then muscle ups on the rings. 60 burpees is a great warm-up. So before you even get into this workout, you don't want to get too nasty, sweaty, and too crazy, but you definitely want to, quoting Kelly now, Kelly Starrett, is unglue yourself a little bit just to make sure that you're feeling mobile and open and ready to go and ready to breathe and just feeling primed. So a little run around, a little jump rope, some shoulder passes, some basic stuff. But I think the key thing is that we get efficient or get the movement prep efficient before we even get into business. You may have recently seen on the CrossFit Journal that we talked about these really nice clean burpees where we talked about the position. And the position is basically this just hollow body thing that we see in gymnastics. And yes, it's an exaggeration of reality, and that's not exactly what we want you guys to be able to do all the time. And the truth is, it's not the most efficient pattern to use as you're going through a nasty workout like the one that we're about to see now. So how are we going to address these things without breaking or defaulting from the position? So something to think about is when you are in your hollow body position, or the position that we're talking about is your butt, your belly are tight and they're one piece. Now, if I can maintain that position, I can do anything I want with my feet, with my legs, with my arms. It doesn't matter. As long as this is one piece, all this other stuff doesn't really matter what they're doing because they will be connected to your movement. That means that if I take this over to my push-up, I can do a regular push-up with my elbows in, I can do a regular push-up with my elbows out, but as long as I'm maintaining that midline stability that we talk a lot about, that butt and belly tight, the position that we talk a lot about, I will be in business. So all this fancy, clean stuff in competition, especially workouts, is not gonna be the most efficient way of working. It's more an exaggeration of reality. It's a way of practicing and finding new patterns. But for a workout like this, we are gonna go back to regular burpees where I'm most likely gonna land in a squat stance, hopefully with my heels down. The hands are gonna be a little weird, maybe arms are gonna be a little weird. As I jump over that bar, I'm not gonna do this beautiful straight jump. I'm most likely just gonna wanna take off, get over the bar, and land on my feet again. So start thinking about that. Can I prep my position from head to hips to stay tight so my arms and legs are just a projection of what's going on there? I can freestyle this and make it whatever it is to be able to get through the workout. It doesn't matter. As long as I can maintain stability, we are good to go. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk a little bit about how can I get from my bottom position of my burpee, which is my push-up, to standing in the most efficient fashion possible. There's this little drill we used to do when we were doing gymnastics that we were working on for snap downs and just to create a more aggressive kip. I don't even know what it's called, but I think it's like something like the dirty caterpillar or something like that. It looks like this, where I'm in a push-up position, my hips drop down, I go into extension, I pop out, and that little pop, which looks like a nasty caterpillar, is what's gonna get me to standing. So if you look at that dynamic movement, which is basically just a kip or an exaggerated opening and closing of the hips, where I go from an extended body position to a hollow, flexed hip flexion position. If I can do that in a dynamic fashion, I'm starting to talk about rotation, translation into other movement. So what I'm looking for is big, nasty caterpillar into a turnover where I scoop my hips under, get my feet under my hips, and now I'm standing ready to go. So what does that look like when I'm doing a burpee? I come down to the ground, hands to the ground, come up out of the hole, snap, turn over. Notice I was actually breaking a little bit of my back. I'm not saying snake this stuff up to here and then snap through, but it may happen. No one said that your back had to be in a perfect position. All we were talking about is you have to get to the bottom, you have to get to the top, jump, and get over that bar. So work on the dirty caterpillar. See what that feels like. Can you get a couple of those? It doesn't have to be too exaggerated. Can you use that to turn over your burpee? Try that, see how that feels. Guys, so these are not any burpees. They're actually burpees, jump over a bar, but for the first time what we're seeing is we're seeing some half turning, meaning that I have to jump in the air, do a 180, land, and then do a burpee again, which is awesome because now we're finally starting to see some rotational stuff. We're starting to get a little fancy. Things are changing. So this is a very simple concept. When we jump or do anything in the air, first thing we need is hips to drive us off the ground. That's your main power generator. Second thing we need is we need to have a stable trunk, belly tight, butt tight, because this is my transmission. I'm the guy that drives a hybrid. So you have your gas engine, that's my hips, jump. I have my spine, which is my transmission, and then I have my little electric engine, which are my shoulders. They're less powerful, but they actually do some work. They're more fine-tuning and moving. So what I want to think about here is I'm going to take off, big jump, pop, my spine is tight or my transmission is ready to go, and then I follow through with the arms, which are my wings or hybrid electric engine, to give me direction and purpose. So going into something like this where we're doing a burpee over a bar. Oh, we have a little bar in the middle of a gymnastics facility. It's almost like CrossFit is everywhere. I want to start thinking, hey, how can I do this in the most efficient manner possible? If you were to see a jump 180 or a jump half turn in gymnastics, what you would see is you would see someone stand with their arms up, big swing, jump, big circle, land, and stand, which is big jump, big hip pop, rib cage is tight. I guide myself up using my arms. I would create rotation by exaggerating one arm behind my ear a little bit, rib cage tight, hips rotating me around. It's the hips that provide you with that stuff. And we'll talk a lot about that down the line. It's all coming. But when we're working on this thing where we have a burpee and a 180, how do we do this? I'm gonna do my burpee, caterpillar, turnover, jump, land again. What I did here is I did the same thing we talked about earlier. I use my arms and my hips to jump, pop my hips. As I take off into the air, my arms lead the position. They stabilize where I want to go in the direction, and the hips are creating rotation and then landing. If you don't feel comfortable with that, of course you're going to jump with both your feet. But something to practice to get more efficient and get more reps is, can I jump with my arms up, big jump, half turn, land, and stick the landing comfortably with this exaggerated arm position? And then can I take it into something a little less fancy, more just arms small and bent, arms small and bent? Do I feel comfortable with that? Can I jump and turn, bend my legs? Bend my legs and land? Bend my legs and land? Can I jump over a line? Jump over a line, land? Can I jump over a bar? Jump over a bar, arms, hips, land, arms, hips, land. Feel comfortable taking off and landing with that nice half turn, which can easily go off axis if you haven't done it before. Give that a shot during the warm-up and see what that translates like during the workout.